A self-assertive life cannot be a healthy spiritual life. It will be normally an unhappy life. There will be constant suffering from twinges of conscience. This is always so for those who ought to lead a spiritual life. They can know little peace, for they never resolutely face the root of disorder in themselves. Those who confine their efforts to resisting the actual assaults of mortal or venial sin, according as they occur, and do not try to become detached from themselves, to correct their faults of character, to combat their pride, to restrain their thirst for pleasure, to check the disorderly tendencies of their senses, and to control their passionate eagerness in the pursuit even of legitimate things, are bound to suffer many a reverse in the spiritual warfare. One of the main reasons why so many pious people are not saintly is to be assigned to this, that they make their spiritual effort consist in not doing wrong things, and in practicing a certain number of right things, rather than in endeavoring to transform radically the springs of their life's activities. Saints always exert a charm. The merely pious rarely do. This charm is due to the utter self-forgetfulness of saints. The merely pious rarely forget themselves. The saints are said to be difficult to get on with in the business of life. That is not the fault of the saints. It is invariably the fault of the others. When those who allow themselves to be swayed, as a rule, by personal interests and prejudices come up against those who invariably guide their activities according to objective and firmly held principles, difficulties are bound to arise. A saint is never a self-seeker. He is all out for the interests of God and never for his own. He is not of those of whom St. Paul complains, saying, "For all seek the things that are their own, not the things that are Jesus Christ's." Anyhow, the difficulties of the life lived in the company of the saints are very much exaggerated. Their interference with life is necessarily infrequent, for their numbers are rare. Comparatively few are called on to suffer from the saints, for comparatively few ever meet saints. The saints themselves do not, as a rule, stress the difficulties they find in living with others, though they might. The others being very numerous, the saints can never escape the experience of living with them. Self-denial, that is, self-effacement, is the invariable characteristic of real holiness. Where it is absent, there is not holiness, though there may be a good deal of piety. Christian sanctity manifests itself in an unresisting flexibility to the direction of God. It can never be gained without a serious conversion of heart, and often a series of conversions. The Savior told the apostles so, and they, at the time, were upright enough, had plenty of goodwill and a certain attachment to their divine master. Conversion means something more searching than relinquishing certain bad practices and substituting for them a certain number of good practices. It is a pity that there is so much insistence on good practices. Spiritual change comes not by adopting different doings, but by becoming fundamentally different.